everyone, it's dielenka, and in today's video I want to share my thoughts on whether you should or should not get a smartwatch, what are the useful sides of having a smartwatch, and what are the reasons why you should probably not get one. From my side of view, I've been wearing a smartwatch for, I don't know, maybe like 4 years now, so I can talk about my experiences and hopefully help you decide, because a smartwatch definitely is not for everyone. And I don't want you to be disappointed because you're spending a bunch of money on something you will not need in the end, or you will not simply use enough for the money you spend. With that said, let's grab a nice drink and let's enjoy this video together. And a reminder, if you want to see more of my content, if you like the way I talk, if you like what I talk about, then please subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow because I'm still a very small channel under 10,000 subscribers. I am wearing an Apple Watch Ultra 2, but these are my thoughts regardless of the watch you're gonna get. So the number one reason why people get smartwatches, besides them being cool or besides famous people wearing them, is simply because they want to monitor their health. And I think that's the best added benefit, especially if you already have some kind of health concerns, or if you simply want to find out whether you have any. In my case, it helped me find out that I should be taking beta blockers for my heart because my heart rate was way too high. And the way I found out was simply by measuring my heart rate during workouts. So I simply started a workout on the watch, and I was seeing that my heart rate was hitting about 195 beats per minute, and I wasn't even lifting that much weight, or I wasn't doing any cardio. And these are things that you might not really notice because my heart rate wasn't something I was concerned about during the day. It was just that I was sweating a lot, and when I went to have a workout, my heart rate was too high, which I saw on the watch. So in the end, I found out that what is limiting me is not the weight I'm lifting, but my heart. If you're a woman, you can benefit from ovulation tracking. Maybe you're trying to get to know your menstruation cycle a bit more. Maybe you're trying to have a baby. And the watch can definitely tell you when you're ovulating, which can be really beneficial. The thing with that is that you have to wear the watch throughout the night, basically 24/7 almost. Of course, you need to take it off for charging, but you should have it on for the majority of the day because it's actually measuring your temperature. And it's gonna tell you when you're ovulating based on the temperature difference of your body. It doesn't tell you when you're ovulating on the day, but it will tell you in retrospective when your ovulation was, so you can predict it better into the future. Of course, there are a bunch of other features of the watches and in which ways they can monitor, for example, the noise levels. It can give you an EKG, it can detect when you fall. This has been triggered once in my case. I can't really remember how it happened. I didn't fall, but it definitely felt like I have fallen. So I've seen that that's worked well in my scenario. Although it was a false positive, I have seen that it can be triggered. I don't really blame the watch because it really felt like a fall. But I can't really remember what was the trigger, but I can only remember that I was like, oh, nice, glad it works. Then again, it can also monitor your sleep, which is something I didn't use at first because I couldn't imagine myself sleeping with a watch. But if you know, you know, women know the best that if you're wearing jewelry, it feels awkward for the first hours, the first days, and then your body gets used to it and it's not triggering anymore. So that's the same with wearing a watch, basically. So at first it feels really weird and you notice that, oh, something's on my wrist, I don't like it, it's weird. But then you get used to it and you don't even know that you have it. On the contrary, you feel weird when you're not having it. This also brings me to finding the right strap for your watch. They usually come with silicone ones. I know Apple has some fine woven ones, but you don't have to invest into brand straps at all. You can get very elegant ones made of steel. You can get basic ones for your workouts made of silicone. You can get ones which are specifically for the ultra watches, which are made so that they can endure some big sport activities, diving, etc. You just have to find the right strap. And I'm mentioning it because of the sleep, because some people don't like to sleep with silicone straps. They might even get rashes. So before saying that you can't sleep with the watch, try finding out what the reason for that is. I like to have my strap a little bit looser when I'm sleeping, but still tight enough so that it can measure my heart rate. So health benefits are big. Also, if your doctor is not a complete idiot, if I have to say it this way, then he will actually have a look at the data coming from your watch and take it into consideration. Of course, the measurements of the watch might be a little bit off, but at the same time, it does show you trends, and the trends are usually really telling. On the downside, I know there are some people who have a lot of anxiety and who don't want to monitor their health too much because they might get anxious of all the diseases they might have. So just something to consider. To me, that's the biggest added benefit a smartwatch can give you. Of course, I already touched the topic of workouts, so definitely you have, I don't know how many, like 50 workouts you can trigger. You can dive with your watch if it's waterproof. I can definitely do that with my Ultra 2. And it's just been nice. It can monitor some stats which are motivating you towards bigger goals, which is just so nice. Whenever you're taking a walk, you see the map of the track you walk. I just like when you have a bunch of information from what you're doing. I just feel that it's really exciting and you can share it among friends, you can motivate each other, etc. I don't want to talk too much about workouts because I haven't used a lot of them. The only ones I use are swimming, running, walking, what else? Functional strength training, classic strength training, cycling, diving. I already said swimming, right? These probably. And a lot of workouts come with different stats and different things so you can measure, which is really cool. Another important point are notifications. This might be both a drawback and a plus. It depends on your personality. If you're getting a bunch of notifications throughout the day, it can be convenient to just look at your watch and see, okay, I don't have to handle this, I don't have to handle this, I can handle this later, or I want to handle this now, etc. So you don't have to have your phone constantly in your hand. Maybe you're doing something else, maybe you're cooking, maybe you're gardening, and you just have the watch so you can look, but you don't have the phone nearby, so you can know what's happening, maybe someone's calling you, etc. So you can handle all these things. For a bunch of apps like Messenger, etc., you can even reply on your watch if the screen is large enough, or you can simply record a voice message, or you can reply with emojis, which is what I do a bunch of times. Like I just show that, okay, I've read it, I acknowledge it. I love when you get calls on your watch. So when your watch does not have a SIM card, but your phone is nearby, you can pick up the call on your watch, which is nice. Of course, everyone else around you can also hear the call, which is a bit of a drawback, but it's nice if you, as I said, if you're gardening and you just want to accept the call and talk to someone, you just accept it and you talk and you don't have to have the phone nearby. This is a big feature I just love on the watch, but it's a feature some people might not want to use just because of how aware you are of the world, how aware you are of the notifications, because for some people it can be too triggering. Maybe it can also trigger your anxiety of, you know, FOMO, fear of missing out. I don't know, maybe you won't be able to relax because you will be getting notifications all the time. Of course you can silence them, etc., but that is a feature I just love on the watch and I find it extremely useful, but some of you might not. So if you don't find this useful, maybe then get something that is just monitoring your health and your fitness. So this is another thing you just have to handle if you simply want to relax from work or relax from notifications or relax from the internet. You will be connected while having the watch, you simply will. Or you will have to turn everything off, which you have to do manually. Then a bunch of companies are making apps which are specifically made for your smartwatch. A bunch of companies offer an app for your phone while also having functionality on your smartwatch. Music services, for example, you can toggle songs, you can save voice memos, you can have third-party health apps, compass apps. For example, I use an app for stress management, so it's telling me when I'm too stressed so that I know that I should relax. And apps for your cycle tracking, apps for your dietary habits. Another thing is safety. As I said, you have the fall detection. You can trigger an SOS, and when someone takes your phone away, you still have the watch, so you have a few seconds more to do something, and maybe it helps you get out of a really bad situation. Like you can trigger some loud siren noises. Which brings me to one cool feature of the Apple Watch, for example, where you can locate your phone, and when you want to locate your phone, you just tap and it lets you know where the phone is. It actually also shows you directions in which you should go in order to find the phone. Flashlight is another feature I use all the time. When I have to go to the toilet during the night and I can't see because I have no tiny light showing me the path, I just turn on the flashlight and I can simply go. It lights up the screen and it's enough light for me to find my way to the toilet. Or maybe you are doing some manual installation work at home and you need a little light, so you're in the dark, you need a little light, so you just turn on the light while you're doing something else. Having a watch this big is a statement. The larger screen you get, the better, in my opinion, because it's then easier to do more and more tasks on your watch. That's also the reason why I have the Ultra 2, because of the screen size, because of the materials, etc. And it just lets you do so much on such a screen. I love when the screens aren't round, because with round screens you lose a bunch of the display because of not having the edges, so it's just more difficult to like navigate on the watch, also to like type on the watch. That's not something I like, so I prefer when the watch does not have a round display. It's also simply a statement. Having a watch, setting it up to your liking, like choosing the watch band of your liking, choosing wallpapers or watch styles of your liking, it shows your personality and it might be a nice way to express yourselves. Of course, then when you're attending a posh meeting, it's a bit weird to just walk around wearing a smartwatch. GPS navigation is really useful when you're somewhere lost in a forest and you just want to find your way back home. You can use backtracking, etc. And you can simply have a look on your watch and know where you should go. I think I've said enough. I don't want this video to be too long. I just wanted to give my thoughts to you. And just consider these things. If you find them useful, if you don't find them useful, these are the things I am using on my watch, and these are the reasons why I still have a smartwatch. If these are not important to you, then maybe there isn't a reason for you to get a smartwatch. If you just want to get the fitness aspects, you can simply get a fitness band and you don't have to have a giant screen where you can reply to notifications and basically have like a second screen to your phone. You probably don't need that. The price point, of course, is significantly higher, so you have to consider that as well. Technology evolves all the time. For example, I remember having the Apple Watch Ultra, and then they introduced a bunch of features which were only on the Ultra 2, so it made me want to upgrade because I wanted to use those features. So remember, technology gets older, and maybe this isn't the right point for you to get the smartwatch because the benefits aren't that substantial for you, and maybe you should wait until the watch can do more things. The things I love to do is simply sell the watch once another model comes out, because then the price difference isn't that large and I can still have the newest tech while not spending that much money again. With that being said, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope I was able to tell you something you didn't know maybe, or help you decide. And as I said, I would be so happy if you would subscribe to my channel, like this video, maybe share it with your friends, and I hope to see you again. Bye!